Welcome. You're listening to the I'm Wired to Inspire podcast, creatively engineered by Nicole, the inspiration specialist. I'm Wired to Inspire is a powerfully packed podcast filled with inspiration and encouragement to get you through your day. It's designed to inspire you to live your authentic purpose. Now, stay tuned for your host, Nicole, the inspiration specialist, on today's episode of I'm Wired to Inspire.
Hey everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today on my podcast. I'm Nicole, the inspiration specialist, and I'm wired to inspire you to live your authentic purpose. Y'all, today I want to talk about something that I recently just happened upon. I started out writing as a poet. I started out as a 13-year-old, and I just started writing poetry and kind of snowballed. I was like well known all through college as a poet and these types of things, just writing. And, I eventually started writing songs. So years ago, when I first got into the industry, I kind of revisited some of my poetry. And I remember I just had so many dope titles and so many things that gave me inspiration. So as the years went by, I started to really kind of try to merge the two together, right? And there's a song I came up with that I ended up having recorded, and it was called I Lost Myself Loving You. And I really, really thought about the depth of what that really meant when I wrote it. But then I thought about it from another perspective. I thought about it from the perspective of us with God. And it's so funny because when you constantly read the word of God and you begin to break it down and you sit with it every day, what you don't realize is there's just so many gems. It's like thousands and hundreds of thousands of gems. And that's not an exaggeration. It is so full and packed with wisdom and knowledge and stuff that you happen upon. You're like, oh my God, I didn't even realize this. There's so much of that, And I thought about, what happens when we lose our self-loving people. And it just made me think about how God is just very clear about being who he is to us, and why if we lose ourselves in loving him, we'll never lose who we are in loving someone else. So today I just want to ask you, is there anybody in your life right now that's taking you from loving the Lord the way that you should? Are you engaging or talking to people who don't have a relationship with God, and you're talking to them a lot? You're trying to forge one, Y'all, we have to be so careful, especially when you're yoking with people and you want to be in a quote unquote relationship with them. You got to be careful you're not trying to put yourself in a situation because of your flesh. Your flesh will make you pour into a person thinking you can save them and teach them things that only God can teach them. This is not about abandoning people or being judgmental. But when you're talking about building and growing and really getting into the space that God has for you, you have got to be equally yoked. This does not mean that both of y'all gonna know all of the same spiritual things. It does not mean that, in fact, you'll have that basis. You'll have that thing that needs to be there. Not that thing you have to force on somebody. You have to try to teach them and show them everything. Literally putting yourself in a place where you're like, okay, I'm not going to connect myself so deeply to people in general who can take me out of the purpose that God has for me. And I know it's a bit of maybe an oxymoron, so to speak, because it's like you want to rejoice and hang out with people and love them and get to know them and grow with them. But on the other hand, if you do all of that, you're really subjecting yourself to things that may not be able to fit your spirit. And you may have to dumb yourself down in order to be around people and communicate with them. So when I think about, I lost myself loving you, I realize that most times when people get in that situation, they lose themselves loving people that they're not equally yoked with. Like people were madly in love and falling into these deep relationships with people, and they're the only one in a relationship. Because they literally fall in love with another human being, and they don't even love the Lord that way first. I want you to just give it some thought and just think about what your positioning is with that right now. Because here's the thing. If you are lost right now, and you don't even know who you are. You're trying to find your way back to you because you are so taken aback by what's been happening with you and someone else. You can stop right now and say, God, if this is applying to me, how can I reconnect? How can I take that love from that situation and redirect that love to a situation with you? That's all it takes. It just takes that one question to just shift it all. And y'all, you can ask it however you want. But it's very important that you do that, because if you don't, you are going to be in a perpetual state of feeling loveless, lifeless, and worthless, because the love that you should be giving to the Lord, you're giving to someone who is not designed or equipped to give it back to you. So ask yourself, have I lost myself loving someone else when I truly should find myself by loving the Lord? I'm wired to inspire. I hope you are too. So guys, that was today's episode. I lost myself loving you. I'm going to leave a little 45-second snippet of the song that I wrote and arranged, and it's featuring India E. God bless.
And now I can't find my way. I lost myself loving you. I lost myself loving you.
Thanks for listening to I'm Wired to Inspire podcast at I'mWiredToInspire.com. If you enjoyed the show, spread the word and be sure to hit the 5-star rating on iTunes. For more information on this podcast and inspirational products and services, log on to I'mWiredToInspire.com. And remember to live your authentic purpose. Thanks again, and see you next time.